All right, welcome into the half, everybody. Sorry about that. My buttons aren't working. Oh no, but we'll figure it out. We've got the man, the myth here. My name is Erich Montgomery. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Erich Campbell. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. I mean, StreamYard is trying to foil us in being live today, but we are going to keep going. If I got to push buttons, I'll be pushing buttons. But I mean, good show this morning on Two Regular Guys. A great way to finish off the year with kind of the last tips, the things we want to do, the things we want to see, the things we should look out for, and what we were expecting out of the previous year. I always love that recap where you look at what your goals were for the year and say, all right, so where was I and what did I do? And those are always kind of fun to look at, like what was driving us last time, what was driving us 12 months ago. And it's a quite a big difference, I think, to what we thought was going to happen. And at the same time, I'm looking at themes that we carried out, that a lot of people were carrying out. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, that's great.
How are you doing this morning?
I am good. I'm doing great, actually. So let's see here. Okay, buttons are being
nice. Buttons are working
finally for me here. So Christine, hello. Thanks for being here. And Evelyn, hey, y'all.
Happy
good
to
see you. Good afternoon, Eric.
See you, Chuck.
Weird to see Aaron with a hat. Nice hat, though. Yeah, I am not a hat guy, but
commentary
I like this hat.
on this.
I was with Eric and I were talking before we got started that this hat's actually grown on me. I could actually see myself wearing it a little more often. So we'll talk about the hat here.
We'll talk about that for sure. Yep. It has to be talked about.
Yep. And then we've got Todd checking in.
Hey, Todd, I think it's time for us to tell you you're on Facebook user, my man. And if we were on your show, F you is what you tell everybody else is on Facebook user. But Todd, happy to see you, even if you don't have yourself logged in with StreamYard. Turnabout, my friend.
Yeah. StreamYard.com/Facebook. That'll get you there. All right. TWHS.
You're going to have to explain.
Yes.
Evelyn, I think we are too slow this morning. I don't know about Aaron. Have been very busy and doing late nights, and I do know about Aaron. Aaron was also very busy doing late nights, so all of us are not exactly firing on every cylinder possible this morning.
That's right.
Hey, it's how it is.
Yep. Jeff said I made it. I can only hang out for 30 minutes though. Well, same for
just the right amount of time, my man.
Just the right amount of time. I love it.
Just the right amount of time.
And good afternoon, Chuck. Thank you. All right.
Nice.
Mary Ann says, good morning from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Moss, is it MAS or is it Moss Embroidery?
If it is Moss, that's an awesome play on words, and I want to hear about that. But if not, I assume it's Mary Ann Shirley. Sure. But yeah, still, if it's Moss, that's awesome. If it's not, you should change it. That is great. More embroidery, everybody. Moss Embroidery.
Ramona, good morning.
Good morning, Ramona.
So both of you are Miss. Yes, that is true.
This is true. We are seen in shaky footage somewhere in the distance, and people aren't really sure if we're real all the time. Yeah, so yes, both of us. Cryptids, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Eric, I'm going to steal the show for 1 second here.
Let's do it.
Ramona says, show us the hat. So there's the hat from Adam at bjjhats.com. And also, special bonus in my bag, a patch here. So
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now buttons. Come on. There we go. Okay. Eric's back. So yeah, there's the hat. I told a story about getting this hat on Two Regular Guys. So go check that out. But loving it. And so Jeff, if you could pass on to Adam, thank you. It's great.
Yes.
I will get some pictures that he can use and anything that he needs. Just tell him to let me know. I appreciate that. One quick note. If I had any feedback to give, and this is not a negative thing, so I just want to give feedback where people might be able to make a change. So I love that I got this patch here. It's awesome. I don't know enough about patches to know what to do with it, and there weren't any instructions with it. Now, again, I should be able to figure it out. I can reach out and ask. I'm just saying for future, maybe customers, they're going to love this, but if they don't know what to do with it, they might not be able to might not be as cool and special to them. So don't demean what you guys are doing with the extra bonuses. Maybe that was just for me, and I appreciate that.
No,
But
that is a cool idea for anybody who is doing patches or honestly anything that has an application process. Yeah, totally. Put in application and or washing instructions. It's also one more place to put your branding.
yep.
That's just a general cool thing to do. Same thing here. I had to kind of teach some folks to do that myself. Where I'm like, hey, if you have something that has special washing instructions, especially, hey, why don't we put those in the box?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it saves
Totally.
a lot of trouble. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, see,
And
you missed something, sir. There's a note on a business card and a small envelope in the box.
really, I did
Must
not
have missed
show.
it.
Okay, I definitely missed it. Then that's on me. Huh. Wonder where that
But
is.
I'm going
I'll
to
go
go
look.
ahead and agree with Walker Woods here, and I always forget everybody when they have the business names. Awesome, great hat, Adam. I agree. Looks awesome. Great hats, and also great hustle and great reaching out and making something happen quickly. That was cool. So follow up, all that stuff. Adam, you did great. And well, there's a lot of people in the business who have been there for years who aren't following up and taking care of their customers like you did. So
Yeah.
realize that's cool, and I'm glad you're watching with your dad. So
All right. Cool.
good stuff, and happy to see that on. And I'm now not the only hat guy, so that's always nice.
Just today, guys. Just
Just
today.
today, just today.
As much as this hat's growing on me, I don't see myself wearing hats anytime soon. It just is not my thing. It's okay. But I love the hat, and I appreciate it. And you would also think that 22 years in this industry, I'd know what to do with a patch. But hey, it's it is what it is. All right. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning.
Hello. Marianne says I have 3 stockings finished today. Yep, this is
This is stocking season
yeah.
for sure.
And the other note, I don't know if you guys are aware, if you are trying to ship anything, the post office on their website says today is the cutoff day, and they're not guaranteeing anything. So make sure that you're clear to your customers. They're not guaranteeing anything, but they're saying if you want this to arrive by the Christmas holiday, that needs to be in the mail system today. So the post office is going to be busy as hell today. So just be aware. And so anyhow, get those things finished and up to the post office as soon as you can. I know we've got some things we need to wrap up and gifts we need to get sent off to. So thank you, Evelyn. Appreciate that.
Nice.
And Tom, hello. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, Tom. Doing good work.
Evelyn, that's what he said. My buttons are not working. All right.
No comments. Let's see. Yep.
I tried 3 times. What else?
Hey, Todd, it's all good. We know who you are, man.
Yeah, we do. It's all good. Todd, are you in Facebook jail? Maybe that's maybe what it. What did you do? It is MAS operator. Okay, all right.
Nice. All right.
Sasquatch and Legends.
I'll say this: maybe I am large enough and hairy enough. I might qualify, but I am actually human. Last time I checked.
That's right. That's right. All right. Double sweet. Adam's watching with me.
Yes.
That one. All right. Sorry. Okay.
It's all
There is a
good.
note and a business card. Okay.
Yeah,
I got to find that envelope. I may have already
It's
made it
seriously,
way in
man.
the trash.
No.
Yep. Ramona says I have washing instructions on the back of my shirt tag business cards. Nice.
Awesome.
Christine, smart marketing too. Look how much publicity this hat is getting. Love it. Yep. It's got iron-on backing. Gunnel.
Yeah, BSNH for the iron-on instructions. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, iron-on backing, heat applied backing, good stuff to have, and awesome to hear that you got that going.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, again, thank you guys. I'm certainly not bringing that up for any other reason than just to give some feedback. But I missed it, so on me. All right. Imagine you did not notice the card.
I know, right?
All right.
Mo,
hello. All right, Todd, what do we got here? When we drop things off, I can feel the people waiting in line wanting to kill me with daggers as we walk to the front, drop stuff off, and leave.
Very likely.
Or, pirate ship, I guess, is what Todd uses. I use ShipStation. Same thing.
Yeah, same thing when I go to UPS store whenever I'm doing something official and I just drop things off pre-labeled. Yeah, there's always somebody who is unhappy with this.
Yeah.
Though I will say, be careful with that when you're doing your business stuff sometimes. I have been dropping stuff off without getting receipts, and I've had a couple things go missing when they're just being dropped at the front counter, even if they mean well at the UPS store. Sometimes you want to wait and get your receipt from the people who are there. I mean, I know not always the best thing, but totally good.
Yeah. No, we've had a, I had a discussion with our local post office saying, hey, I know you guys are busy. I don't want to have to stand there and wait for you to scan everything so I can get a receipt. And then you don't want
Totally
to do
true.
that. I want you to be able to do that when you guys are able to do that. But if you're going to tell me that you didn't receive this package all the time, guess what? Your
Yep.
people are not going to be happy. You're going to
Yeah,
have
we're
longer
going to be standing
lines.
in
So
line. Yep, this is what's going to
figure
happen.
out how to take care of your
Or
stuff.
just
All
better
right.
drop off. I'll say this: dropping off on the front counter in the day and age where people are a little more brazen about walking away from stuff from the front
Yeah.
counter. Yeah, you got to be a little more
Mhm.
careful. Dropping
Yeah.
stuff off on a counter in front of people is not always the best. That's not the nicest thing to say, but it happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Francis checking in from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you for checking in.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I
you have something
appreciate it.
helpful to say. Yeah, I mean, not everything is educational on the half, but we sure try and sprinkle some in when we can.
That's right. That's right. Jeff, feedback is great. We might get postcard sized business cards for the notes. That's awesome. Great idea.
Yeah, we actually did something similar, Black Duck. We ended up putting a secondary notes sheet that was right under kind of the seal for the box. Problem we had with that was you have to be careful people cutting through the seal for the box, and they cut through your little note sheet as well. So be aware that sometimes a little piece of cardstock on top of your top sheet is better if you're going to have people cutting the box open, or at least a sticker that warns them about cutting too deeply.
I've got a story that's on that same note, but a little bit different. Just if you're buying 3-inch round ceramic ornaments, when you open the boxes, be
Mhm.
careful to open the boxes more gently than I have in the past. They put the gold tie strings in a bag on top, and I was not really paying attention. Took the cutting knife all the way through it, cut the
No.
strings in half. Yeah. So
Yeah, we've similar problems here with we had a new person on receiving at one point and very very expensive jackets. Same
oh
thing, plunged the blade right the heck through and went right across the top, and top jacket was eviscerated.
yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Walker Wood said, I have learned, still have them scanned, lost a huge box of shirts. Yeah, it's a challenge. The other place that's
True.
a little bit of a challenge is UPS. If you've,
Yeah.
so getting stuff scanned there because UPS is working with Amazon. And
Hmm.
so if you have a return for Amazon, you can just take it to the UPS store and kind of
True.
hand to 'em. The lines are out the door at every single UPS store. I hope the UPS people are getting paid well for this because it is. I mean, the
It's rough
last time I
times.
went there was 6 people working there, and I was the fourth person in line, and it took me 30 minutes
Yeah. No,
to,
I
to
believe
have
it. That's
two
this time
things
of the year.
scanned. Yeah,
That's this time of the year.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Jeff says if I'm not willing to replace it, I have it scanned in. Yeah, for
That's the
sure.
right way to go. When you have
Yeah,
anything of any great value, you really probably have to take that time. And honestly, it's a good reason to do time chunking and not just drop it in the middle of your day if you have important stuff going on.
yeah,
Chunk your time and realize you're going to lose some of that time.
yeah, yeah.
It's just the way
And
it
if you're
is.
doing enough shipping, talk to the shipping people.
Yeah,
Get a pickup.
get them to come by. Yeah, we did the same thing even in Brilliance where we don't have a ton of stuff going direct like that. And yeah, still you can
Yeah,
get a pickup.
you can
If you
totally
have
get a
any
pickup.
amount of stuff, you can get a pickup, and
Yeah,
it's worthwhile to
yeah.
look at it if you're doing it frequently enough.
Definitely. All right. Todd says we do stickers, plan on stopping until people said they peeled the instructions and put them by their press. So
Galaxy
stickers the way
brain
to go,
thinking
Todd.
right there, man.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And have something also, if something is a cool sticker that happens to also have instructions on it, people will hang out. Or a split sticker where you have one cool image and then your instructions underneath it. Really useful stuff that people will hang on to.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know this one. Todd says you
Hmm.
can return Amazon at Kohl's and get some Kohl's cash too. No wonder I drove by my Kohl's
Yeah.
the other day and I was like, wow, the parking lot is jacked
And
full.
it's all the way in the back, so you walk through. They've got the Walmart mindset for retail. You have to walk through the store to get to it, and walk through the store to get back out, so they get you on sales.
Nice. That's
Kohl's is
smart.
smart. Also, because Amazon owns Whole Foods, you can go to the Whole Foods uh, business counter, the customer service counter, and return there as well. I
Huh.
know this has turned into Amazon tips. The other thing I hate to say, I'm an Amazon seller who works with a lot of Amazon stuff. Amazon is also coming up on deadlines and dates. Like, don't think you can get that Prime last minute. You're about there.
Yeah.
Things are delayed, and I've been experiencing delays with things going out. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
also, because I've also known people in the decorating industry who are getting blanks or supplies from Amazon, don't expect that Prime to save you in this last week.
Yeah.
You are about at your time. If you didn't set your dates, it's time to be really honest with customers who are coming in last minute.
Yeah,
It's
that's
way
a
past
really
time.
good point. I actually had some aha moments over the last couple weeks because again, spending the money on the Prime, and it was just
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
easy, buy
Yeah.
tape, buy whatever, and I started thinking to myself, you know what, this is really stupid. Why am I spending so much money with Amazon when I really need to be creating relationships locally? I
Yeah.
actually have found a local packaging company
Really.
that is freaking amazing to work with. Their prices are pretty much the same as what I'm getting off of Amazon. I don't buy a ton of stuff from them, and they treat me like I'm their biggest customer. It takes super good care.
It's
And so
awesome.
there are little local packaging companies in your town. And maybe not every town, but they're, I mean,
Quite a
in
few.
the St.
Quite a
Louis
few.
area, the west part of the St. Louis area here where I live, which is, the smaller part of the town, they're at least four packaging companies that I could work with. I found one that I really like. So I was just thinking about this the other day, and I was trying to buy some copy paper. I just needed some copy paper, and
Yeah.
my local Office Max closed where I'm at, and so I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
I'll go on Amazon. And what Eric just said, I found one that was Prime, and it says it'll be delivered December 29th. I'm
Yep.
like, what in the heck?
Yep.
And then so I just like, you know what? I'll just ask my package company. Well, guess what? They've got paper too. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. So start making those
True.
relationships with the local folks, because then you can get bailed out, right? That they can help you. You can run and pick it up. So
It's well worth doing, and I think that not enough of us do that.
yeah,
Admittedly, I'm all for making things easier through online ordering because your
yep,
labor is part of it. If you have
yep,
to spend, 2 hours on the phone with somebody, you might think about what those 2 hours are worth. If
yeah,
that's what it takes for you to go run and get stuff done instead of having it shipped. But when we're in a pinch like this, especially, and honestly, when you have lead time where it's not a big deal, when you have a schedule, when you're going to order things reliably, make that relationship where it's one email away and it's not much different than
yeah,
going on Amazon.
yeah,
Though I will also say, be careful about things that seem like they're great prices, especially Amazon too, because there's a lot of just weird practices going on, weird packaging going on, and uh, prices aren't always what you think they are. It seems like it should be more expensive locally. It isn't always.
yeah,
It isn't
yeah,
always. So I think that's a good thing to think about. Think about alternatives. And honestly, this plays into what we talked about in Two Other Guys, plays into what we talked about in this show several times. We are having problems with sourcing, but the more we sit and complain about sourcing and the less we think about what we can do, either in alternate offering alternate products or finding alternate sources,
yeah,
we just don't have resources. Whereas we could build resources and help out both local companies and honestly help ourselves out in finding other ways to do things. And by the way, patch makers are just making bank this year because when you can't find garments, you can put a patch on a garment that exists. So feel vindicated. Me and all the rest of my patch lovers out there, yeah, would feel a little vindicated this year because if
I'm
you
part of
can't
that
get a
group now.
jacket,
Yeah.
yeah, no, you can't get a jacket, you can put a patch on a jacket.
There you
Anyway,
go. I love it. I love it. That's a good idea,
alternate
actually.
solutions.
Yeah. We just rebranded OSG. That's really a good idea now that you think about, now that you mention it. So all right. So Evelyn says, I spoke to a UPS delivery person.
Both
Who's
pushing buttons
pushing
again.
buttons?
I'm pushing it right now.
All right.
There we
We're
go.
gonna keep pushing buttons here.
What
I
you doing?
spoke to a UPS delivery person who uses their own car. She said she gets paid very well. We've
It's
seen a
true.
lot of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of independent people doing package delivery
Yeah.
right
Chuck says, I had a package delivered at 10:30 p.m. Yeah, I think Jerry Dahlheimer had said, was it last week? I can't
now.
remember.
Yeah, yeah,
Somewhere along the way, he had mentioned that his UPS person told him to leave the porch lights on until at least 10 p.m. because it could be,
absolutely.
yeah,
Same here. Even though we're in a smaller town, I mean, I
yeah,
guess I know people who are in very small towns out there who are living in rural areas. So Albuquerque is not one of those. But in relation to the places I usually talk to people, or we're not DFW, we're not Houston, we're not any of our local, we're not
yeah,
Denver, we're not a huge place like those comparatively in the Southwest, and we have incredibly late night deliveries. We have huge long lines at all the shipping and packaging.
yeah,
We're experiencing this. I think it's everywhere. I because there are many times where somebody will say, "Oh man, there's huge outages," and we're here in Albuquerque in our little island, kind of like, yeah, we're not experiencing the same
yeah,
problems you are, but yeah, shipping for sure, and some of the sourcing problems, yes,
yeah,
have
yeah,
filtered all the way down. So yeah, I
totally.
think that's something to think about. Also,
Yeah.
something to tell your customers about. Warn them about the late ship times. Warn them about porch pirates to a degree, because that's something you have to have a policy about. That's another thing I've seen people really kind of heartbroken about, is people are trying to deal with the fact that we have angry customers once porch pirates have stolen their packages, and they want the people who have provided the packages to make them whole. And that is a real tough situation to be in. So it's worthwhile to talk about that, or to at least have in the back of your head what's going to
Yeah.
happen when your customer doesn't get anything and UPS shows it delivered, or has a picture of it on their, porch, whatever you're
Yeah.
doing or whoever you're working with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worthwhile to think about this stuff now.
And Eric, I think that, we talked about planning earlier, but that can come into what you're looking at for next year. I mean,
Yes.
the best way to deal with that is to have a policy already in place, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
the whole
Up front.
reason, the whole reason to me, excuse me, that you want to have policies in place is not that this is going to be like the law, you're laying it down and no, a policy is in place gives you an opportunity to better service your customers, because you're basically saying, okay, well, this is what our policy is, because I think the world of you. You're great, Mr. or Mrs. Customer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's figure out how we can work through this. We set these policies up because of this. So, policies are there to me as an opportunity to provide better customer service. But
Yeah.
if you didn't have that in place already, now you're just trying to figure it out, and you're taking all the blame from their side, whether that's right of them or not. That
No.
who's right and wrong does not matter at all in these situations. How you resolve it is what matters. So
That's one of those things. It's like, would you rather be right or achieve the goal you want to achieve? Being right is just not worth very much. You can't deposit it. You can't pay your equipment lease with it. Being right is just not worth as much as you think it is. It doesn't mean we roll over for everything. It does mean educating ahead of time and making
yeah,
things clear is a much better way to go. If we think of our policies as guidelines and then ways we can reinforce things, we can tell people, hey, be careful about people, stealing packages, or this is what happens when a package goes missing. We can tell them that. If we say, here's our return policy, then we actually have something to back it up. Say, please be careful with your information, with this, with that. Make sure
yeah,
you've ordered things correctly. Don't, make sure you're spelling things correctly when you send them to me. Make sure you do your approvals and actually look over your images, because this is my thing. It doesn't mean that we don't ever go, I guess you would say, against, or we don't ever give a bonus beyond our policy. No, we can choose at any time to say, we're going to go above and beyond and fulfill, even though, like, we're going to fix something even though you approved it. And that's fine. We can
yeah,
do that. But that's the thing. That should be our choice, and it should be something that's not
yeah.
necessarily baked in. They shouldn't expect that they can not fulfill their part of the customer bargain,
Correct.
to
Yeah.
make this thing happen.
Yeah, because Eric, if you don't have those expectations, you don't have those policies set in place, you can't go above and beyond. It's not
Yeah.
possible, because you've not set anything that is above and beyond.
There's no
Their
boundaries.
expectations are always going to be bigger than what
Yeah.
you're willing to do at first glance.
Hey,
But
and
if you set the expectation, then
totally.
yeah, yeah,
And don't get me wrong. I mean, there are customers for whom, if they're always like this,
yeah,
the right answer might be, I'm going to refund your last order, but I will not be taking another order.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that can be an answer. I
Yeah,
have had a customer like that. I had a customer
should be an
who
answer. Yeah,
dropped off a ton of customer supplied garments, and the garments were always of a very wide, various kind of quality. And if you know from embroidery, what you can do on a Carhartt jacket is not what you can do on a tissue tee or on a burnout. These are not the same things. They would require us or ask us or demand that we run the same designs on everything, not pay for editing, not pay for anything else, and want the same thing on all designs. I eventually said, here's the thing, I'll put the tissue tees under the machine. If one rips, that's you. They were consistently having problems with that stuff. We did that, managed to make them work. They didn't like the quality after we warned them. And I finally just said, either you order from us or we're done.
yeah,
Like, that's okay. You can order from us, or you can work with us on what you're bringing in, or we can't do this anymore. We will not run things that don't make sense.
sure,
So
sure.
it's one of those things. You do eventually have things where your policies say, we've given you the warning, we've given you the thing, we have you sign off on a waiver. And at this point, that customer is actually costing us if we're replacing garments all the time,
Correct.
because they make bad decisions that they want to force us
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
So boundaries are important. And so, yeah, not saying that the customer's always right, but there's
No,
also there's two sides to that. I've seen many
absolutely.
decorators get into this point where they're like, no, it's principles, and I have to fight with this person and make sure that they understand. And I
Yeah,
gotta, and I'm like, you're burning the house down around you for no particular reason. Yeah, you're
yeah,
both getting burnt, but you're also
yeah,
standing in the ashes when you're done.
yeah, yeah.
Make sure that you're not, you're not cutting off your nose to spite your face when you do that stuff. Sometimes being right just isn't worthwhile, or is costing you more than you think it is.
Yeah, yeah. You can be right internally all you want, but
Yeah.
if it's your ideal customer, the customer is right but it's that ideal customer is the
It
point.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to some comments here, Eric.
Sure.
We're talking about every trip is at least 30 minutes. And that's true. You do
Yep.
have to
At least.
understand your time, but and yes, there's times where we'll have it shipped or whatever. But again, we all know what the challenges are with the shipping companies as well right now. So, if you're putting yourself in that spot where you're relying on, um, you know, uh, businesses that have shown themselves to be completely unreliable at times because they're completely overwhelmed, i.e., UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, etc. Right? Then
Yep.
that 30 minutes might actually be more worthwhile. But again, you have to make that business decision for yourself. Um, all right, so let's see here. Back to what we were talking about with the small businesses. Good stuff here.
Yeah.
Christine says, plus creating local relationships mean you're supporting small businesses in your own community. That's always a good thing. And Ramona follows that up with, I like to support the local independents over the big box retailers. Evelyn is high-fiving that. And Jeff says, UPS here has rented U-Haul trucks and are running deliveries in those as well as regular trucks.
Yep.
And here, this is great, Jeff. So, but this needs to be in your policy. This needs to be public and that you can point to. Send a copy of the police report on that stolen package, and I'll send out a replacement. So again, it's a return, a replace, whatever. Here's the process that we go through. I've always kind of said, yeah, we'll file a claim, and when whatever happens, depending on if it's somebody that's having a lot of these issues, right? It could be, and we'll encourage them to send an inspector out. And these are federal crimes to be messing with the Postal Service, right? So,
oh no, we've
all of a sudden those
also had
packages
that.
get found.
I'll say this: do an outgoing count, even if you don't think you need to. When you're sealing up a box, stop real quick, do an outgoing count, and make real sure of your tally. I think that counting in and counting out are important.
There you go.
Sure.
I love it.
That's something we had to institute pretty reliably. We had to do an outgoing count because we had customers who were always short 2 pieces, always 2 to 5 pieces on the regular, and they were never short.
Yeah. All right. Christine says, always have comprehensive policies. Try to think of any situation you may encounter and figure out what you want to do or will do before it happens. Don't wait until you're forced with the issue. Yeah. And I think that's a really good point that I want to just add on to real quick, Eric, and you feel free as well. To understand that most of us create our policies in the heat of what thing just happened to us. Do not do that. Stop, try to, again, like Christine says here, before it happens, but do not make your policies based on the last bad, crappy thing that just happened to you. You want to make your policies based on what is the best partnership for you and your ideal customers. So yes, you may want to make a note that, okay, we've got to come back to this policy and make a policy here because this crappy thing just happened to us. But take some time before you actually do that.
And don't make overly draconian policies to punish the customer who already got away with it.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is making it harder on the other customers. Make sure that your policies come from that place. And also, hey, we all know what kind of policies we would like to see as buyers. We all buy things. We're all purchasers. This is not mystical. This is not rocket science. We know what we think is fair as a purchaser. Try that hat on for a moment and make sure. Are there people who are unreasonable? Absolutely. We don't have to service all the unreasonable people. We can put reasonable policies in place that keep us customer focused.
Yeah. All right. Excuse me. Just Ship said, Etsy is not friendly on the owner. They normally side with the customer. Customers at times say it's not at their house, knowing it shows it's delivered. Yeah. Here's my quick take on this. You got to understand what Etsy is, right? Etsy makes these big claims. We're to support the makers and all complete and utter BS. They are a publicly traded company. What matters to Etsy is they put dollars in their shareholders' pockets. And therefore, what puts dollars in their shareholders' pockets is when a customer buys, they get a percentage of that. So who are they actually taking care of? The people buying and spending money on Etsy. Now, I'm not saying Etsy, we should all just bail out on Etsy and leave. What I'm saying is you have to understand what Etsy is. Etsy to you should be a marketing tool. Your job is to find customers on Etsy, do such a great job that they want to come to your website and buy from you directly. That's how I would look at Etsy. So that my quick
hey, Amazon's similar. Amazon's a big marketplace, but they are not on your side. That is the absolute truth. They give you access to a big marketplace full of foot traffic in an online way, but they are not on your side.
Yeah. All right, Eric. So let's get one more comment here. If you want to go ahead and read that one for me, please, sir.
Sure. Ramona says, I have one client that orders
Little setup there.
I got set up hard. Sorry,
You
Ramona.
did get set up hard. So did Ramona. Sorry, Ramona.
See
You guys have
next
a great
time.
holiday. Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye, folks.